thanks for coming back to the channel. We appreciate you. Now today we're going to be talking about something a little bit sad, to say goodbye to a good friend of ours. Roll camera.
Man. Ooh. Hey! I don't think you're getting your ramp back anytime soon, though.
That was my Mickey interpretation. But look, still trying to keep it a little bit lighthearted, but also a little bit downhearted. But I know that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Look, today, officially, I had to say goodbye and safe travels to our shop owner, who has officially moved himself all the way back east to be with his family. I've known him for about 4 years now. Actually met him about 8 years ago when I very first started over at Chrysler. So this was a really big deal for me to lose him as a mentor, a friend, and someone that I can always count and rely on in the shop. Now that he's not here, of course, I'm going to have to start relying a little bit more on myself and maybe those others around me whom I didn't have to rely on as much as I did him, as he was there almost every day. But he has been gone for a couple of months, so we're starting to kind of get into the groove of things. But that doesn't mean that it's really any harder. You know, you lose that personality. You know, when one guy's kind of feeling like an off day, you always have somebody that was a little bit more picked up for the day. You know, when he had an off day, I think myself and other guys in the shop kind of helped pick his spirits up too. And you kind of feed off of each other. You know, you kind of go back and forth through emotion, and sometimes life can be funny, and there's different types of stressors and turmoil that you go through on a daily basis. So for me, yeah, it's really tough to see him go, but I understand why he's going. And I would do the same exact thing, and I even told him so. You know, you got to be with your family, right? So I definitely understand the transitions of life, okay? Because you're not always going to be at the same exact place for an extended period of time. You might be there for a few years, could be there for a decade, and life takes you a different direction. And that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's a move forward, and it's not steps back, like in a divorce. You know, I've had to have many redos over the years, and it's only been within the last, I would say, half a dozen years that I've tried very hard to not recreate any kind of redo in my life, because I don't like having to start all over. It's extremely difficult to start all over or start afresh or try a new state or a new town, to learn people around you. I know a lot of people throughout our small town or city, if you want to call it that. I don't really know that I would call it a city, it's more of a town. But here in Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree, it's a pretty tight-knit group. Everyone pretty much knows everybody. You start building relationships with people that you see on a daily basis. Like stopping by a quick six after work and being like, yo, Frank, what up? Meg, what's going on? You know, or maybe the O'Reilly's manager and district manager come by and you're like, hey, what's up, Ron? What's up, Alex? Good to see you guys, you know. And you just formulate these relationships with people surrounding you, and you get to be really extremely comfortable in your environment. And so I think it's always a challenge when you lose somebody. We had a gentleman that had owned Fred's Tire, Fred, okay? He owned Fred's Tire, and he had passed away. And that was hard for everybody within the community that knew him and knew him well. Now his daughter and granddaughter are actually running and taking care of the shop, and they're very good people, you know. But it was a sad thing to hear about, you know. When someone ended up having to go to the hospital, you feel for them. When someone goes to jail for an unexpected reason, there's shock and awe, right? You're a little bit surprised because you've known that person for a while. So these relationships you're going to build in time anywhere you stay, if you stay somewhere long enough. I was actually talking with my shop owner who's traveling all the way back east this evening about this, and about, like, there's always hot deals that pop up on vehicles, on, you know, toolboxes and things like that, because he was trying to debate whether or not he wanted to fix it or just sell certain vehicles that he had there at the shop, what he wanted to keep, what he wanted to let go, did he want to bring his box with, did he want to leave it and sell it. I mean, everything was such up in the air, and I was like, there's always a hot deal somewhere. And once you get to know the people around you, you always get that shoulder tap from somebody. Hey bud, totally just found this truck, you were looking for a truck, found $1,000, right? Doesn't need much, maybe a battery and a tune-up or something like that. Or hey bud, you know, totally found that dirt bike that you were wanting in the price range, found one for like $400 or $500, right? You know, it needs a car rebuild or something like that. But the point is that there's always somebody that knows somebody that's letting something go, and materialistic items come and go. I've never been hugely attached to materialistic items. Yes, I'm extremely happy when I get a chance to look around and see what I've accomplished over the years, to see some of these material things that I have. I'm like, oh man, you know, I've built a pretty good little lifestyle. You know, I've got a lot to be appreciative for and thankful for, you know, really do. And that's not just with material possessions, but with the family that I have, with the friends that I've had, the relationships that I've built along the way. I've been extremely fortunate in the last, you know, decade to have met some of the people that I've met and get to where it is that I've gotten to, you know. I will not say that I got entirely here on my own. There was some help along the way. You know, I had some people that would help me by letting me know who was hiring. Like when I applied over at Ron's Automotive and I wanted to leave the dealership, one of our former techs was working there and he's like, you should apply. I think they're looking for a guy like you. So I did, you know, and that was what kind of took me over to that shop. So just to kind of give you an example of people that help you out with just word of mouth. The pickup truck that I very first got when I got down here, when I had no vehicle and the Catalina didn't work out and I got tired of living out of it, and I got out of the hotel from paying every single night, I met a family up here in the higher desert up on the mesa. They had a pickup truck. Their kid wanted $1,500 for it, needed some work. I was a mechanic, right? Just got my degree. I could wrench, needed a starter, battery, tires, etc., whatever. Rock and roll. Well, I made a deal with his mom. $750 up front, give me 30 days, I'll get you the other $750. She didn't know me from Kingdom Come, did the deal, I paid for it, and you know what, to this day, I still talk to them. We still have barbecues up at her house. Her kid texts me all the time, hey man, what do you think about this? I'm putting a light bar on, I got new tires, I have an issue, the check engine light's on, what can I do? And that was the same guy that I gave the scan tool to. He came down a while back. If you look through the older videos, his name's Aaron. We were working on his mom's truck. Well, she's gonna bring her truck back down here, and I'm gonna look at it for free, and I'm not gonna charge her anything. It's education, right? I get to use the Zeus, I get to plug into it, test it, but it's all about who you know, and I've known him for years, and now I get a chance to kind of pay it back, so to speak, right? She didn't know who I was, she trusted me, I made good on my deal, and now we're friends, and she can bring it on down, and it's whatever, you know? Well, let me know down in the descriptions if you guys are going through this, have gone through this, or were curious about this discussion topic, but I'm not going anywhere, okay? I'm still at the same exact shop. The owner, even though he's moved east, he still technically owns the shop until eventually he finds someone that decides to take it over. I think that he might have found somebody. We'll see what direction that we go here in the future. You know, if the shop remains open, if this guy does decide to buy it, if they decide to close the shop and I have to look for new employment. I'm not going to sit here and pretend or guess that I know what the future looks like for me. All I can say is that I've got pretty good hopes. I've got high hopes about it, right? I've got high hopes. He's got high hopes. Well, I'm in a Mickey Mouse goofy kind of a mood tonight. You know, the kids were watching it a little bit ago on the TV. Look, fact is, man, we're going to be all right, okay? And I think he's going to be all right, and I know we're going to see him again. We'll probably see him around Christmas time. I wish him safe travels, and I wish his family happy Pumpkin Patch Day, because they're supposed to go to the pumpkin patch. Hopefully we will too, and that's all I got for this video. Guys, thanks as always for watching. I appreciate your support. Cheers and deuces.